Gospel according to John. When Judas had left them, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and God will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little while longer. I give you a new commandment: love one another. As I have loved you, so you also should love one another. This is how all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Jesus gives us today the new commandment to love one another as he has loved us. One of the aspects of love is to remove all the obstacles so you can be available for others. Nowadays, with technology, we value availability so much. When you want to contact someone, you expect them to get back to you quickly. When you buy something online, there's no office hours. You can buy anything at 10 p.m. nowadays. And so this aspect of availability is very much present and valued today. And that's one of the aspects of the new commandment, to be available for others, to say to others with your being, "Here I am right now for you." And in the Gospel and in the first reading, we see an important element to be available for others. And it's to remove the obstacles that don't allow you to be available. Many things can lead us to be withdrawn, to kind of enter inside of us and not available when other people need us. Look at Jesus first. The first line of the Gospel in this Last Supper discourse is that Jesus says, "Love one another as I have loved you," right after Judas left. The Gospel begins, "When Judas had left them," Jesus said. So Judas is on his way to betray the Master, and he's going to trigger the process of the death of Jesus. And think of this. If someone is on his way and your process of death begins, that's kind of frightening. Imagine that in your life. But Jesus, instead of withdrawing within, getting preoccupied, what is going to happen, who is going to come, when are they going to come, how many are they going to be, instead of saying, "Oh, like poor of me," he says, "My children." He loves his disciples. He overcomes this inner obstacle, and he continues to love. In the first reading, we see something similar. We see the preaching of Paul in the book of Acts of the Apostles. But if you read the lines before, it says that the Jewish leaders and the Gentiles, they stoned Paul, dragged him out of the city, supposing he was dead. So they stoned him, they knocked him down, they drag him out of the city, maybe some miles, and they think he's dead. And that's when the first reading begins. It says, when he got up, Paul entered the city, and look what he did. He made a number of disciples. Then he went to Lystra, Iconium, Antioch. Then he strengthened the spirit of the disciples. Then he said to them, "Persevere, it is necessary to suffer to enter the kingdom of God." Then he appointed elders. Then he went to Pisidia, Pamphylia, and then Attalia. That's amazing. They stoned him to death They drag him many miles, and when he gets up, instead of thinking, oh, poor of me, like, I need like a psychologist, a 1 week recovery. No, like right away, he begins to love again. So all these obstacles to be available, but he overcomes them. I was thinking, if all of you get angry today with me and you stone me to death and you kind of drag me to Beaverton, it will take me 1 year to recover. I will go to a pre-therapy recovery center and then begin to love again. But Paul said, like, he got up and right away he kind of continued loving. So that's the important lesson from Jesus and from Paul. To be available to others, to love others, to say with your being, I am here for you. Many times you need to remove obstacles, either from the inside or from the outside. Obstacles that might lead you to withdraw inside of you. And that's an aspect of the new commandment. That availability that leads you to see your life as a gift for others. So maybe two things we can ask ourselves is, what are the things that lead you to withdraw within? What are the activities, things, people that lead you to kind of be in yourself and not available to others? It could be busyness, it could be addictions, it could be the phone, it could be strong emotions. If you are very much taken by some emotions like sadness, for example, that can lead you to be less available to the people you love. It could be being tired. Sometimes we are so tired that we cannot love. It could be maybe physical illness. Think of St. Paul. They stoned him to death. He might have been hurting the next day, but he continues to love. The needs of others is so big for him, so important, that he's able to overcome that tendency to withdraw. So what are the things that lead you to be more in you and less in others? The second thing is, reflect on the words, I am here for you. This is what Jesus says always. Jesus is the first who is available for others. In the cross, to the good thief, even though he's suffering, he loves. To the woman in the crowd, he's available. Although there's so many people seeking him, he loves this woman in Mark, in the Gospel of Mark. The first reading, second reading says, God will always be with them, and he will wipe our tears. God will always be with us. God will always be for us. He will wipe your tears. He will be there completely for you. In the Mass, Jesus says, this is my body given up for you. This is my body given up for you. In the Blessed Sacrament, 24/7, the Lord available for us. So Jesus, in a sense, he teaches us by giving us that example. I am here for you. So you can be the same for others. So you can mirror this availability. And this is what we celebrate today with these 6 children who today are going to receive First Communion. This is the joy for each one of you, that today, in a very special way, now I speak to the children, Jesus says, I am here for you. This is my body given up for you. I remember the day of my First Communion. I was 7, a long time ago. And I was, that day, Olivia, I was feeling such a good child, at least that day. And that's what we celebrate today, that you will receive, each of you, the love of Jesus in a special way. Jesus will be saying to you, I am here for you. I am available for you. This is my body given up for you. You will become a small tabernacle walking in this world today. And at least for today, Matthew and Benjamin and Brandon, Eva, at least for today, each one of you have to be there for others. Jesus comes to you, who makes yourself available for you, so you can be available for others. So let us celebrate with these children, let us celebrate with these families, and also let us celebrate because of this amazing love of Christ for each one of us.